They called it isolation, a prison built of whispers and sideways glances, a cage constructed from their inability to understand the way my mind danced to a different rhythm. They meant it as a condemnation, a mark of my otherness. But they were wrong, dead wrong. My isolation became my sanctuary, my fortress of solitude where I could see the world with a clarity they couldn't even fathom. In the silence, I learned to listen, not just to the world around me, but to the whispers of my own soul. Whispers that spoke of truths hidden in plain sight, truths the rest of the world, blinded by their own normalcy, couldn't or wouldn't see. They labeled me ADHD, autistic. Words meant to define and limit, to relegate me to the fringes of their neatly ordered world. They didn't understand that their labels were like trying to contain the ocean in a teacup. My mind, a kaleidoscope of thoughts and perceptions, couldn't be contained by their simplistic definitions. What they saw as deficits, I experienced as strengths. My supposed disorders were, in fact, the keys that unlocked hidden dimensions of perception. They allowed me to see the cracks in their carefully constructed facades, to hear the dissonance beneath their harmonious facade. The Heyoka, the sacred clown of the Lakota tribe, a jester, a trickster, a mirror held up to society, reflecting its follies and hypocrisies back with unflinching honesty. The Heyoka laughs, not at the world, but at the absurdity of the illusions that bind us. And in that laughter there is truth, a raw, unvarnished truth that stings with its accuracy. I am that Heyoka, not by choice perhaps, but by destiny. My neurodivergence has gifted me with the ability to see through the charades, to cut through the bullshit, and to speak truth to power, even when it makes others uncomfortable. They call them disorders, defects. I call them my superpowers. My ADHD, a whirlwind of energy and ideas, allows me to see connections others miss, to make leaps of logic that leave them baffled. My autism, a spectrum of sensory perception, grants me access to a world of details, of patterns and nuances that remain invisible to the neurotypical eye. It is this unique wiring of my brain, this supposed malfunctioning, that allows me to see the world with such clarity. It is my gift, my burden, and my destiny. Section 5. The pattern in the static, a childhood memory. I remember as a child staring at the static on the television screen. While other kids saw only random noise, I saw patterns, shapes shifting and swirling in the chaos. I saw stories unfolding, universes being born and dying within the white noise. It was my first glimpse beyond the veil, my first taste of the hidden truths that lay beneath the surface of things. It was then, I believe, that my journey began. A journey of discovery, of questioning, of relentless pursuit of the truth, no matter how uncomfortable it might be. Section 6. The Emperor's New Clothes, Seeing Through the Facade. The world is full of emperors parading naked, their finery nothing more than a shared delusion, a collective lie we tell ourselves to avoid facing the uncomfortable truth. But I see them. I see the fear and insecurity hiding beneath their masks of power. I see the greed and corruption masquerading as progress. And I will not be silent. I will not play their game of pretend. Like the child in the fable, I will speak the truth, even if it means facing their scorn and ridicule. For the truth once seen cannot be unseen. Section 7. The Price of Truth, Isolation and its Discontents. Isolation comes at a price. It is a double-edged sword, granting clarity and insight while simultaneously severing the ties that bind us to others. It is a lonely path, this quest for truth. But it is a path I am willing to walk, even if it means walking it alone. For I have tasted the bitter sweetness of truth, and I can no longer stomach the saccharine lies of the world. I choose truth, even with its thorns, over the comforting falsehoods that would lull me back into blissful ignorance. Section 8. A Prophet Ignored, The Perils of Being Misunderstood. History is littered with the stories of prophets ignored, of visionaries dismissed as madmen. I know their fate could easily become my own, but I will not be silenced. I will continue to speak my truth, even if my words fall on deaf ears. For the truth, like a seed buried deep within the earth, has a way of finding its way to the light. It may take time, it may take patience, but it will emerge eventually, bursting forth with a power that cannot be denied. Section 9. From Exile to Oracle, A New Dawn, A True Calling. My isolation was my crucible, the fire in which my spirit was forged anew. Now I emerge from the ashes, not broken, but strengthened, my vision clear, my purpose defined. I am no longer the outcast, the misfit, the one they sought to silence. I am the Heyoka, the truth-teller, the voice in the wilderness, crying out for those with ears to hear. This is my calling, my destiny, and I embrace it fully, without reservation. The time for silence is over. The time for truth is now.